Okay, welcome to Unit 3. Unit 3 deals with decimals. We're starting to get into some more health applications of decimals or of the mathematics. So this is where you might start running into a lot of new things. It's still got some review, and so we'll go over some of the review parts. Reading decimals, how do you read a decimal? So if I have a number like, all I'm looking at right now is this 658. That's an easy number to read. Everybody knows how to read 658. Now I have to find out what's the place value of that 658. I have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So I'd read this as 658 10,000ths. Because all I'm doing is reading the whole number and then the place value of the last digit. Just for practice, let's look at one more. What if I had a number like okay, when you're looking at numbers, the only time you ever use the word and is when it's a decimal point. So this number here is 802, and I want to find out, before I even start to say the number, 802 what? So I'm going tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So it's going to be 802 thousandths. So when I read the number, I'm going to say 3 and 802 thousandths. Notice, if I was just looking at the number, if there was no decimal involved, if I was looking at that, I wouldn't say 802, because in mathematics you don't use that and. It's just 802. That's how I would say it. The and is only used for your decimal point. Okay, when you're comparing decimals, that can be a little bit tricky. If I look at something like if I look at those two numbers, I look at them and say, oh, 19, that's bigger than 2, right? Wrong. When you're looking at decimals, the easiest way to compare them is if they have the same number of place values. This one here doesn't have a hundredth, so let's give it a 0. I can add zeros here all day, and it doesn't change the fact that it's 2 tenths. 20 hundredths, 2 tenths. Remember back to fractions. Those are the same. So I can add numbers here all day long and it doesn't change it. Now it's easy to see that the 2 tenths was actually bigger than the 19 hundredths. As long as you have the same number of place values, it's really simple. Let's look at some of the operations with decimals. For adding and subtracting, if I were going to say and I need to add these up, all I'm going to do with them is put them in a column with the decimal points lined up. So 7 and 2 tenths, 8 hundredths, 33 hundredths. And then I'll add them just like I would any other number. If it makes it easier for you, go ahead and put a 0 here. But as you can see, it doesn't change anything. 0 plus 8 is still 8. 8 and 3, 11. Write down my 1, carry a 1. 1 and 2 is 3, still 3, and 3 is 6. Don't have to do any carrying. Don't have anything to add to the 7, so I just bring it right on down. It's the same thing if I'm doing subtraction. Let's look at a little bit of a tougher subtraction problem, because they're not always that nice and easy, as some of you probably know by now. If I'm looking at, let's say I have 7 minus 0.08 or 8 hundredths. I'm looking at that and saying, oh, what is that? You can think of this as $7 and you spend 8 cents, or you lose 8 cents. Your little brother comes and steals a nickel and 3 pennies from you. So I'm going to rewrite this. Again, I want to keep my decimal numbers lined up, and I hear you guys, you're saying, there's no decimal number in 7. All right, let's put one. 7. Now I have the same number of decimal places as I do in what I'm subtracting. This is actually a pretty good problem because it's not that easy. Remember, I'm going to have to regroup or borrow, and I'm going to have to borrow or regroup twice. So this here's the 7, I'm going to turn that into a 6 by taking, and that makes sense, 10 dimes is the same as $1, so I still have $6 and 10 dimes, fine. Now I'm going to make that into a 9, so I can make this a 10. Now I can start to work. 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 0 is just 9. And my 6 can come straight down. So this here would equal 6 and 92/100ths. That was a little more complex, so feel free to at any time to stop the video, rewind, whatever you need to do. The video's starting to run a little long, so let's pause now. We'll come back for the multiplication and division.